After 15 years of despair, a heartwarming encounter with a black waitress revealed an incredible. Jake had never expected life to spiral this way. Once a skilled mechanic who fixed cars with deft hands and proud to provide for his family, he now spent days hunched over his laptop, staring at the cruel blinking cursor. Jobless, his spirit seemed as broken as the engines he once mended. With bills piling high and his wife gone to her sister's place, taking their daughter Lily with her, the emptiness gnawed at him. The laughter that used to fill their home now echoed in memories, as Lily grew distant, resentment brewing in her teenage heart. One afternoon, after another fruitless job hunt, despair overwhelmed him. The diner he used to frequent pulled Jake in like a moth to a flame. The smell of greasy burgers and fresh coffee filled the room, but warmth eluded him. He took a seat at the counter, the worn leather sticky and familiar. It was then Maria appeared, an overworked waitress juggling trays and orders yet always flashing a kind smile. "Hey there. What can I get you?" she asked, the energy of her cheerful demeanor somehow cutting through Jake's fog. "Just coffee, please." He sat in silence, pretending to read the menu but fully absorbed by the clinking plates and laughter echoing around him. It wasn't long before Maria returned, pouring coffee and flashing him an understanding glance. "You okay, hon? You look a little lost." As Jake began to share snippets of his struggles, the walls he'd built started crumbling. He told her about the job loss, his wife's absence, and the growing chasm with Lily. There was something about Maria, a warmth that made him feel some weight lift. They both spoke of dreams dashed and the burdens of single parenting. The struggles felt like familiar territory amidst the different backgrounds. For the first time in ages, he didn't feel alone. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Weeks went by and Jake found solace in the diner, each visit reinforcing their friendship. Together they dreamt of better days, Maria's gritty determination igniting a spark in him. However, just when things began to stabilize, a heated argument with Lily shattered it all. She confronted him about his distractions, his failure to recognize her grief amid his own. Pain radiated in both their voices, revealing how their lives had unraveled into separate struggles. The diner turned into his sanctuary, as Maria encouraged him to take small, deliberate steps to reconnect with Lily. As Jake poured his heart out, he came to the painful realization that he had been so consumed by despair that he had overlooked Lily's deep sorrow. Days rolled on with renewed effort. But then, another disaster loomed. News broke that the community program Maria had mentioned might be on the verge of closing due to lack of funding. This left Jake hung between hope and uncertainty. Would he muster the courage to stand and fight for the support that had begun to save him? Could he bridge the widening gulf with his daughter before it was too late? This moment wasn't just a test of resilience, it was a call to reclaim a future he thought was lost. The next morning, Jake awoke with the sun streaming through a crack in the curtains. It was a small, bright moment in a sea of shadows. He rubbed his eyes, inhaling deeply as if trying to capture that flicker of hope. Today felt different. The previous day had crammed his heart with anxiety, but the thought of Maria's laughter and the conversations they shared buoyed him. Pushing himself out of bed, he took a moment to glance at the family photo on his nightstand. A younger Lily grinned brightly, nestled between him and Emily. Memories rushed back, filling his chest with warmth and suffocating ache. A part of him longed for those uncomplicated days, but another part ignited with fierce determination. He couldn't let despair swallow him whole. Jake decided it was time to take action. He wrapped himself in his old sweater, shoved his feet into well-worn sneakers, and made his way to the diner. As he stepped inside, the familiar clink of dishes and soft hum of chatter surrounded him. Maria was busy at work, refilling coffee cups and cracking jokes with a couple of regulars, her laughter ringing like a tune that made the world feel lighter. "Hey there, stranger," she called out, waving him over. "You're a sight for sore eyes." "Thanks, I needed to get out." "Mind if I sit for a bit?" Jake replied, sliding onto a bar stool. "Always." She poured him a fresh cup of coffee, her smile warm and inviting. "So, what has been going on in your world?" It felt like a balm for his weary soul. He shared his plan to reconnect with Lily, the efforts he'd been making, and the weight of the looming program closure. Maria listened intently, nodding along as he spoke. "Sounds like you've got a heavy load," she said after he finished. "But that's a good sign, Jake. You're pushing yourself at last." "Yeah, but what if it's all for nothing?" The doubt slipped through his voice, and Maria's expression shifted to one of understanding. "Sometimes growth hurts," she said softly. "But you're already stepping out of that dark place. You've got the courage, don't forget that." Jake leaned back, mulling over her words. Could he really be brave enough to make a call, rally the community, worry about money, and tackle the issues that were threatening his lifeline? What if he forged a connection between the lost dreams and bright future he yearned for? That program means a lot to a lot of kids. If it closes, what's left? Maria's eyes sparkled with an idea. "You should go talk to the community center director, maybe set up a fundraiser or something." Fundraiser, the word echoed in Jake's mind, and for the first time in months, he felt a pulse of excitement. "You really think we could pull that off?" "Absolutely. It'll be your chance to show Lily you're serious about making things right." As they brainstormed together, Jake could feel the flicker of hope igniting into a flame. They discussed ideas, food, even activities for the event. Jake's heart thumped loudly in his chest. It felt like a turning point, a moment when life could shift from despair into something meaningful. Later that evening, he made his way home with Maria's words shaping his resolve. Lily was sitting in her room, earbuds in, music spilling softly through the door. As Jake approached, doubt crept back in, but he pushed it aside. Today was not about backing down. "Hey, Lily." He called out, his voice hesitating at the threshold. "Can we talk?" Silence hung heavy, but then the music faded. The door creaked open just a bit, revealing a glimpse of his daughter's puzzled expression. "What's up, Dad?" The moment felt fragile, yet somehow full of potential. Jake took a deep breath and crossed the line into vulnerability. "I've got plans. Plans to fix things with us." Can he really open a dialogue that could change everything between them? Would she hear him out? "Do we have time?" she asked, her expression softening. Jake's heart raced. This could be his chance to reach her, to really connect. But would he be able to convey the depth of his feelings? There was still so much to say. In that uncertain moment, as he stood on the precipice of a possible reconciliation, Jake realized that the bravest thing he could do was to open his heart and make the effort. Would it be enough? And for the first time in a long while, he dared to hope that perhaps this time, they could fight their battles together. What would Lily say when he revealed his plan for the community program and their future? Idea. Jake felt the weight of the moment rest heavily on his shoulders. He swallowed hard, unsure if he was ready to dive deep into a conversation so crucial for both of them. Lily's brown eyes sparkled with curiosity, but there was a wall, a cautious barrier built from years of silence and missed connections. "Come on in, Dad," she said, stepping aside. As he crossed the threshold into her room, a whirlwind of music, posters, and half-finished homework confronted him. He caught a glimpse of the girl he once knew, though she was cloaked in a burgeoning independence that both thrilled and terrified him. Jake took a seat on the edge of her bed, unsure how to lean into the gravity of his words. He stared at the worn carpet beneath his feet, gathering the courage to speak. I had this idea," he began cautiously, his voice stronger than he felt. "About the community program. I want to do something to keep it going, something that can bring us together. Lily's brows furrowed, her skepticism almost palpable. What do you mean? I want to set up a fundraiser, he rushed to explain, the words tumbling out. Maria, the waitress at the diner, she helped me see it could really make a difference. It's not just about saving the program, it's about saving the connection to the community, to our lives, Lily. For a fleeting moment, he saw the spark of interest flicker in her eyes, but it quickly faded as she crossed her arms. And you think that will fix everything? Her question stung. Jake felt the old insecurities rise. I don't know if it will fix everything, but I've been thinking I want you to be involved. I want you to help me make it happen. She looked away, biting her lip. Dad, you've always wanted to save things. But she hesitated, letting out a breath filled with frustration. What if I don't care? The heart-wrenching admission silenced him. Every word was like a weight of truth crashing into him. He knew the gulfs between them were deep. I know I've made mistakes, and I understand why you feel that way, but this isn't just about me. This is about kids who need something to believe in. Lily shifted uncomfortably, gazing back at him with the vulnerability of a young adult discovering the complexity of the world beyond childhood. Why should I care about something that doesn't care about me? Her voice quivered. Jake's heart filled with sorrow, but it also ignited a fierce determination. Because it's not just a program or a fundraiser. It's about building something. Together. I want to show you that there's hope and strength in being part of something greater. A heavy silence filled the air. Jake could see wheels turning in her mind, she was weighing his words against the years of hurt and indifference. Okay, she finally said, her voice softer. But if we do this, you have to promise to really listen. Not just about the program, but, about me. Tears prickled his eyes. I promise. The sincerity within him shone as vibrant as it ever had. I want to understand you, Lily. I want to be there for you. Her wary expression softened just a fraction. I guess I could help. But it better not be more of your empty promises. He chuckled, nervous relief bubbling up. I'll do my best. Let's make it a real team effort. You, me, and anyone willing to join us. As they began to brainstorm ideas together, a lightness filled the room, displacing some of the shadows that had lingered for so long. But in the back of Jake's mind loomed the uncertainty of whether this newfound connection would last, especially when they realized how much change lay ahead. Could he truly navigate this new path with Lily? The possibility of rebuilding their relationship stirred excitement within him, but doubt crowded into what if she still wasn't ready to trust him? Just as those thoughts began to swirl, her phone chimed loudly, shattering the fragile moment they'd shared. As she reached for it, he noticed a message flash across the screen, a notification from a group of her friends about a community project they had launched that was similar to his. What's that? He asked. Curiosity piquing. Lily sighed and glanced down. It's nothing. But Jake sensed it was something. Something that could connect their efforts in ways he hadn't considered. Wait, he urged, excitement bubbling. What if we joined them? Collaborated for a bigger impact? Her eyes widened, the glimmer of possibility igniting within her. But just as he felt the tide turning, doubt washed over him again. What if his attempt to reconnect only pushed her away further? His heart thundered in his chest. Was this just the beginning of their redemption, or was he stepping into deeper waters that could drown them both? Lily hesitated, her fingers immobilized over the screen. Jake could sense the change in her, the faintest flicker of excitement battling against the weight of reluctance. He leaned in closer, eager to bridge the gap between them, but the walls built over the years still loomed large. What if it's something good? He prodded gently. Your friends might be onto something amazing. We could blend our efforts, create a bigger wave. He kept his tone light, but there was a tremor in his voice, a mix of hope and desperation. Lily turned her head slightly, catching his gaze. For a moment, he could see the struggle within her. It's just they've been doing this for months. I don't want to mess things up by, bringing you into it, she admitted quietly, almost as if the confession embarrassed her. Jake felt a twinge of hurt, but he masked it with encouragement. You're not messing anything up, Lily. This could be the chance to do something powerful together. What if this is how you show the world you care? She looked thoughtful, her lips pursing as the walls of doubt began to crumple. I guess, but I'm not sure how they feel about you stepping in. They've always seen me. As she trailed off, the uncertainty hanging in the air like an unformed cloud. As what? He asked gently, his heart racing. As their leader. You stepping in could feel awkward, she finished. Her voice, once so firm, now wavered with a softness he hadn't heard in years. Listen, he said, his voice steady. You've got more power than you realize. You can make that connection if you want it. If you tell them we want to collaborate, they might be flattered. Maybe tomorrow at school, you could mention it. A flicker of rebellion crossed her face, and he caught a glimpse of the girl with fire in her spirit. Fine. I'll think about it, but if they say no, I won't go begging for their approval. I can't deal with more rejection, she warned, crossing her arms defiantly. Totally fair, he said, grinning slightly. But can we at least agree to try? If nothing else, it might spark something interesting. The room was lit with an energy that had faded too long ago between them. As they spoke, his heart pounded with renewed hope. He could see the woman Lily was becoming emerge from the girl he once knew. Hey, we can work on the fundraising concept together. A collaborative approach could be better. You handle the ideas your friends have, I'll tackle some of the logistics. What do you think? Lily tilted her head, a faint smile fluttering on her lips. I guess we could do that. But I'm not promising much, she teased playfully, the tension pulling back just a little. Deal, he replied, willing to take the small victories where he can find them. As the conversation flowed, ideas morphed from tentative whispers into tangible plans. They brainstormed, laughed over wild suggestions, and circled back to the heart of what they wanted to achieve. The shadows of doubt still loomed, but each shared word chipped away at it, allowing in light. But just as the warmth enveloped them, Lily suddenly snapped her fingers. Oh, wait. There's something we need to discuss. This could turn into a whole new headache if we're not careful. My friends aren't an easy bunch to convince. What is it? Jake asked, sensing the shift. I mean, if I get them on board, my old friend Jessie might want to take part, she admitted, biting her lip. But she and I, well, we've had our issues. And she's not the same person I used to know. His heart sank at the mention of Jessie. Another complication. But he remembered a fleeting story Lily once shared about their friendship. Then you have to face it, right? You can't let old wounds dictate what you build now. But what if it complicates things even more? She fretted. What if it all falls apart? A deeper understanding settled within Jake. That's a risk we take when we're trying to build something. And isn't that what it's all about? Finding strength in the mess of it. She considered his words, the flicker of possibility igniting again in her eyes. You really think so? Absolutely, he affirmed. They were at the edge of something profound, a place where vulnerability and courage reigned. As she nodded slowly, Jake felt a wave of hope wash over him. Maybe, just maybe, they were ready to venture beyond their past. But deep down, another question tugged at him. As Lily stood up, a glimmer of confidence illuminating her face, he couldn't help but wonder, if they succeeded in this collaboration, would it be enough to mend the scraps of their fractured relationship? The thought lingered, unspoken, as the shadows gathered again, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. The next day seemed to dawn with a nervous electricity. Lily's heart raced as she approached school, the familiar sounds of laughter and lockers slamming resonating around her. But her mind was elsewhere, spinning with thoughts of Jessie. Would she be receptive? Would her friends even entertain the idea of collaborating? There were so many unknowns and so much at stake. As she entered the cafeteria, the usual mix of chatter and clinking forks filled the air, wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. But today, every corner felt like a battleground, each group of friends engaged in their own chatter, oblivious to the anxiety bubbling within her. What if they laughed at her suggestion? What if Jessie didn't support her? She spotted her friends at a table, their faces lit up with the warmth of camaraderie. It was a stark contrast to her inner turmoil. "You got this, Lily," she whispered to herself, a mantra she hoped would calm her racing thoughts. She took a deep breath and approached. "Hey, guys." She called out, trying to summon a cheerfulness she didn't quite feel. "Hey, Lily." Her closest friend Sarah waved her over. "We were just talking about you." "Really? All good things, I hope." Lily replied, a tentative smile on her face. "Of course. We were wondering when you'd want to throw our next event," Sarah said, her enthusiasm infectious. But that fire in her belly pushed Lily forward, armed with her uncertainty and hope. "I actually had an idea. What if we opened it to include more people? Like with Jake?" She hesitated but pressed on. "We could collaborate on the fundraiser." The table fell silent. Lily's heart sank. Was this the judgment day she feared? But then Sarah blinked, tilting her head. "Jake? You mean you're Jake?" "Yeah, we've been talking. He's got some solid logistics ideas. I think it could be really cool," Lily added, hoping to light the spark she saw in Jake's eyes just last night. Ignoring the subtle gossip whispered between her friends, Jessie piped up from the far end of the table. "Are you sure that's a good idea? Remember last time?" The mention of last time sounded like a hammer falling. Lily's stomach churned, but she steadied herself, not wanting to feel trapped by their shared history. "Jessie, this is different. We can't just let our past define what we can do now. If we don't try, we might miss out on something great." Her voice was shaky, but there was fire behind it. "Okay," Jessie replied, raising her hands as if to signal peace. "I just want to make sure we don't open old wounds. But I'll support whatever you want." A wave of relief washed over Lily. It wasn't a full endorsement, but it was a start. Conversations began to ebb and flow, jokes exchanged and plans tossed around. For the first time in what felt like years, there was a flicker of unity at that table. But as the hour passed, a new worry began to creep up inside Lily. What if bringing Jake into this dynamic threatened the delicate balance they had? Later, as she packed her bag, she noticed Jessie lingering. "Hey," Jessie said softly, almost hesitantly. "I'm sorry if I made things awkward. I just wanted to be upfront." "No, I appreciate that. It's just complicated," Lily replied, searching for the right words. "But I really want this to work. I don't want our past to dictate our futures." Jessie nodded, an understanding in her eyes. "Maybe we can both step out of our comfort zones together." Lily hoped that was true. But just then, her phone buzzed, a message lighting up the screen. It was Jake, asking if they could meet later to finalize plans. Would this be a new beginning? Or would old shadows rise again? As she sent back a quick reply, she could feel the tension crackle, like static in the air before a storm. With uncertainty swirling in her gut, she took a deep breath. Whatever came next, the stakes were real, and the journey was only beginning. What did the future hold when bridges were being rebuilt? Only time would tell. Lily stood by her locker, feeling the weight of anticipation mixed with dread. She stared blankly at the crowded hall, students pushing past each other, laughter echoing in and out of her focus. Just moments ago, she had felt a flame of hope ignite within her, yet now it flickered in the face of uncertainty. What if the meeting with Jake didn't go as she envisioned? What if he didn't like the collaborative idea? But then, that familiar mantra looped in her head, "You got this, Lily." It was time to put herself out there, to venture into uncharted territory. As she headed towards the library for their meeting, the scent of stale coffee and old books wrapped around her like an embrace. It was a familiar comfort, yet somehow, it only added to her nervousness. She glanced at the clock, 5 minutes to go. Each tick felt like a countdown, building suspense in her chest. When she finally pushed through the library doors, she spotted Jake at a table by the window, his brow furrowed in concentration as he jotted down notes in a notebook. The sight of him ignited something warm and hopeful, and she approached with a hesitant smile. "Hey, thanks for meeting me," she said, trying to sound casual while her heart raced. "Of course. I've been looking forward to this," he replied, his eyes brightening as he returned her smile. "I love the idea of collaborating. I think it'll really elevate the event." Just hearing those words lifted a heavy stone from her heart. She took a seat across from him, thoughts racing as she began discussing their plans. They tossed ideas back and forth, the clumsy nature of their first meeting morphing into a fluid exchange of creativity. The simple enthusiasm in Jake's voice was contagious, and Lily found herself leaning in, excited. But as they brainstormed, a ghost from the past loomed over her enthusiasm. While she was filled with hope, she couldn't shake the feeling that Jessie would still be hesitant. After all, their shared history had left scars, she couldn't expect Jessie to jump on board easily. "Also, I thought it would be cool if we incorporated some art into the fundraiser, maybe a showcase. I know some great artists," Jake suggested, breaking her train of thought. "That could definitely work. I can reach out to some friends who paint, and we could create an Instagram page to promote it. That way, we can involve the community more," Lily replied, feeling the adrenaline rush as ideas flowed. Their meeting extended beyond the library's walls, every conversation reaffirming Lily's belief that this collaboration could heal old wounds, perhaps even among her friends. When they reached the end of their brainstorming session, Jake leaned back in his seat. "I think we have something powerful here, Lily." "I hope so," she said, a tinge of vulnerability creeping into her voice. "I really want to make sure Jessie feels included." "Yeah, I get that. But remember, it's all about what you want, too." "You're leading this," Jake replied, his sincerity pushing back her apprehension. As they gathered their belongings, Lily realized how important this moment was for her, not just for the event but for herself too. It was about embracing potential, about moving forward. It was a shift she desperately needed. With newfound confidence, she stepped out into the hallway, where the bustling crowd no longer felt intimidating. Instead, it gave her energy. But just as the thrill of planning started to spark excitement, her phone buzzed again. This time, it was Jessie. "Can we talk? I need to clear some things up about the plans." A knot tightened in Lily's stomach. She took a deep breath, uncertainty creeping back in. What if Jessie didn't feel the same way? What if this conversation led to an argument instead of understanding? Steeling herself, Lily replied, "Sure, I'd love to." "When and where?" As she waited for Jessie's response, she realized that the moment of truth was upon her. This was where it all collided, and she couldn't help but wonder if they could truly start healing together or if this would fracture what little unity they had left. Would they escape their history, or would it swallow them whole? Only time would tell. Lily leaned against the cool metal of her locker, her heart racing as she waited for Jessie to reply. It felt like the universe was holding its breath, and she was caught in the middle of a rising storm. Every second stretched into eternity, the noise of the hallway fading into a dull roar as she replayed so many moments with Jessie in her mind, the laughter, the fights, and the silence that had lingered far too long. Finally, her phone buzzed. "How about right after school? Near the cafe?" Jessie's words were brief, but the extra period of waiting felt like noticing a crack in the ice that could lead to a plunge into the unknown. Lily typed back quickly, "Sounds good. See you there." She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Classes felt longer, each tick of the clock echoing the undercurrent of anxiety swirling in her stomach. When the final bell rang, she was on autopilot, her feet moving toward the cafe as if guided by invisible strings. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow as she stepped inside. The scent of fresh coffee and pastries lured her momentarily, but her thoughts were solely on Jessie. Taking a seat at their usual booth, Lily fidgeted with the napkin on the table, her mind racing through the possible outcomes of their conversation. Jessie walked in, her presence immediately lighting up the room with a mix of confidence and uncertainty. They had once been inseparable, but now it felt like they were standing on opposing sides of a bridge, each hesitant to cross. "Hey," Jessie said softly as she took a seat across from Lily. "Hey," Lily replied, trying to gauge Jessie's mood by the openness of her posture. The silence that followed felt charged, like a million unspoken words hung between them. Finally, Lily cleared her throat. "Thanks for agreeing to meet. I wanted to talk about the fundraiser and well, everything." Jessie's expression shifted. There was a flicker of something, perhaps insecurity or curiosity. "I saw your message about the event. I guess I just needed to hear your side first. Things have been weird between us." "Yeah, they have," Lily admitted, her heart pounding. "I just felt like after everything, we've lost that connection. I really want this project to include you." Jessie nodded, a spark of understanding passing between them. "I know. I want to support it, but part of me doesn't know if I can open up to you again." The air thickened with vulnerability. "I miss us, Jessie." "I miss you," Lily confessed, the words spilling out before she could think twice. "We can't let our past define what we have now. I want us to create something positive together." Jessie's eyes softened, but there was still a hesitance there. "It's just hard to forget, you know. Everything that happened, it feels like there's a wall between us." Lily leaned forward, desperation creeping into her voice. "What can I do to break that wall? I need you with me. I can't do this without you." For a moment, Jessie looked away, the battle playing out in her eyes. "I'm scared, Lily. Scared that things won't change. That we might end up in the same place again." "I get that," Lily said, her own fears bubbling up. "But we can't just stand still. If we don't try, we'll never know. This event could be a fresh start." Jessie was silent for what felt like an eternity. Then, she finally spoke, her voice barely a whisper. "Maybe. I need time to think." Lily felt a lump form in her throat. "Of course. Take all the time you need." As they both sat in that moment, the distance felt smaller, the walls less imposing. Lily knew they weren't there yet, but at least the door was slightly ajar. Jessie pushed a stray hair behind her ear, and for an instant, their eyes locked. Lily held on to that flicker of hope fiercely. Maybe they had a path back to each other. As they began to leave, Jessie looked back and said, "Let us talk soon." A weight lifted from Lily's shoulders. "I'd like that." But just as she was tasting the sweetness of optimism, her phone buzzed with an unexpected notification. An anonymous message flashed across the screen, its unspoken threat slicing through the fragile warmth of hope. "You really think you can mend what's broken? Think again." A chill raced down her spine. What did this mean for her and Jessie? Was the past coming back to haunt them yet again? Lily felt the old fears rising. Only one thing was certain: this was far from over. Lily stood outside the cafe, the warm light spilling through the windows wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. But the chill of the message haunted her. She turned her phone over in her hand as if hoping it would vanish. Jessie had mentioned wanting time to think, but now concern twisted in Lily's chest. What if that time lingered too long? What if this message was a sign of something worse? Determined not to let fear claim her spirit, Lily decided to head home. She pushed open the door and stepped back into the cool evening, her thoughts swirling as she walked. A part of her wanted to reach out to Jessie again, to chase her words and reassure her. Yet, the weight of that anonymous message lingered, creating an echo in her mind. Think again. That evening, with the stars twinkling through her bedroom window, Lily took a deep breath. She needed clarity. Maybe the best thing she could do was write out her feelings. She pulled out her journal, knowing she always found solace there. Writing helped her hand moving across the pages like it was speaking a truth that often lay buried in her heart. She poured out everything, her love for Jesse, the memories that felt both painful and beautiful, and her hope for a new beginning. With every word, the weight on her heart lifted a little more. Later, just before sleep pulled her into its comforting grasp, Lily felt a spark of determination rise within her. She decided to confront the anonymous message head-on. There was a new strength in her resolve. She would talk to Jesse again, not only about their project but also about their feelings whatever they were at the moment. She wanted Jesse to know that the past wouldn't define them. The next day arrived too quickly. The morning light felt harsh as Lily prepared herself for school. She thought about the conversation that awaited her, the walls she hoped to dismantle. But doubt began creeping in again. What if Jesse was still unsure? What if she was waiting for Lily to reach out again, the one who, after all, had caused some of that pain? When she arrived at school, she found herself gravitating to the familiar places, the lockers, the hallways, the fluttering moments of laughter ringing in her ears. Yet, there was a palpable tension in the air. She spotted Jesse at their old spot near the bleachers, her figure slightly hunched, lost in thought. "Hey," Lily called out, her voice steadying as she approached. Jesse looked up, her surprise melting into a soft smile. "Hi. I was just thinking. Can we talk?" Lily asked, her heart drumming a wild rhythm. "Are you sure?" Jesse's brow furrowed with concern that both warmed Lily and made her anxious. "Yeah. I need to clear some things up." As they walked side by side, Lily felt the weight of the future press down on her. Yet, it felt thrilling, too. The rush of uncertainty mingled with the promise of honesty ignited a fire in her. They found a secluded bench, where birds chirped and the world around them faded just enough to create a bubble of intimacy. Before Lily could draw a breath, her phone buzzed loudly in her pocket, cutting the moment. She pulled it out, and her stomach dropped when she saw a new message flash, the same ominous number sending yet another chilling note: "You're playing with fire. Don't get burned." Lily's heart raced, terror gripping her. She looked at Jesse, the moment of truth teetering on the brink. I need to show you something." Jesse's eyebrows shot up, but curiosity sparked in her eyes. Whatever came next would shape everything. Lily knew things were about to shift again, dramatically. But for the first time in a while, she felt ready to face it, ready to fight for what mattered. Lily felt her pulse quicken. With shaky hands, she opened the message and turned the screen towards Jesse. "Look," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's from the same number that sent me that first message." Jesse leaned closer, the concern etched on her face deepening. "What does it say?" Lily read it aloud, her throat tightening around the words. Each syllable felt heavy. "You're playing with fire. Don't get burned." Jessie's eyes widened, and her expression shifted from curiosity to alarm. "What does that even mean? Do you know who it is?" "No," Lily admitted, her voice shaking. "That's what I need to understand. But it scares me. I can't shake this feeling that it's connected to us, to you and me." Jessie's gaze softened as she processed Lily's words. "We can dig into this together, whatever it is. You're not alone." There was a quiet strength in her tone. Lily nodded, but doubt still lingered. Would this bring them closer, or would it open old wounds? Just as she was about to voice her worries, Jessie took a deep breath, steeling herself. "Before we dive deeper into this, I want to talk about us. Where we are. What we mean to each other now." Lily's heart fluttered, both hopeful and terrified. "Yes," she replied, feeling the weight of their past hovering in the air between them. "Do you think it's possible to start over?" to finally move past everything that happened last year? Jessie asked, her vulnerability shining through her eyes. There's so much I still want to say, but it feels hard. Hard is an understatement. Lily smiled gently. But you mean everything to me. I want us to work. I want to know if you still feel that spark, even if the fire has burned us before. I do, Jessie breathed, a light glimmering in her expression. But I'm so scared. What if we just get hurt again? The anxiety washed over them, the cool breeze whispering around them. Just then, Lily remembered the times they spent laughing, the warmth of their friendship, the moment when they first shared secrets under the stars. We've loved each other through so much, Jess. Shouldn't we at least give it a chance? We owe it to ourselves. Jessie nodded, her features softening with resolve. You're right. I want to try. I really do. However, just as hope surged within Lily, her phone buzzed once more, interrupting their moment. Another message. She felt dread claw at her insides as she hesitated before reading it. Lily, be careful. This isn't just a game. Jessie's eyes widened. What does that mean? Who is this? I don't know, Lily whispered, panic weaving through her thoughts. But if they could be watching us, what does that mean for our conversations? For us? Fear coursed through her as she realized the implications of the cryptic notes. This was bigger than just them. It was as if shadows hung over their fragile reconnection, threatening to extinguish the light they had just begun to see. Let us not let fear control us, Jessie insisted, her determination pushing through the uncertainty. Whatever's happening, we'll face it together. Just like we can choose to face our feelings head-on. Lily felt the warmth of Jessie's words, but doubt still lingered. But can we really handle what's coming? What if this all unravels? The air around them felt thick, charged with uncertainty and possibility. The question hung between them, unasked but palpable. The path ahead was unclear, laden with risks. But for the first time, amidst the fear, the fire of hope flickered bright. And with that, Lily prepared to step into the unknown, clutching at the flicker of belief that what lay ahead could lead them to a future painted in colors more vibrant than they had ever known. As they locked eyes, each of them felt the weight of the world resting on their shoulders, ready to confront whatever was waiting for them in the shadows. Would this threat bring them closer, or would it tear them apart before they even had a chance to breathe new life into their relationship? The day dawned bright and hopeful, illuminating the streets as Lily walked to school, bracing herself for whatever awaited her. The anonymous messages nagged at her mind, an ominous reminder that the past had not fully let go. Yet, amidst the shadows, the light of her resolve burned bright. She had opened up to Jessie, grasped the possibility of a new beginning. Arriving at school, Lily spotted Jessie at their usual booth, her expression a mixture of contemplation and determination. A wave of reassurance washed over Lily. They would face this together, they had to. Hey, Lily greeted, sliding into the seat opposite Jessie, who looked up with a small smile, the intensity of their shared conversation looming between them like a promise. Hey! Did you see the latest message? Jessie asked, her brow knitting together in concern. Yeah, Lily replied, hesitating. And I think we need to discuss it more. Together. The weight of their conversation grew heavier. They shared a tangible connection, one built from history and echoing emotions. What if it's just someone trying to scare us? Jessie ventured, her body leaning a little closer. But it doesn't feel like just that, does it? No, it doesn't. There is something more, Lily said firmly. But I see it as a challenge. We've already battled our past. This can't be worse than that, right? Jessie nodded slowly but looked pensive. We've got to stay smart about this. How do we find out who's behind it? As they plotted their course of action, their laughter echoing soft bursts of levity in that charged space, Lily felt a wave of warmth envelop them. Maybe this was the rebuilding they both needed. Day by day, Conversations flowed like water, the fragile connection evolving into something more comfortable. With every shared laugh, Lily sensed the warmth wrap them tighter, a cocoon against the chilling reminders of their past. They took small steps, meeting after school, mapping out plans for the fundraiser, creating posters, and brainstorming how to rally others around the rare spark igniting between them. While laughter filled their days, the shadow of the anonymous messages simmered beneath the surface, a whisper constantly breathing anxiety onto their growing friendship. Then it happened. One afternoon, the two girls huddled at a nearby park, laughing over ideas. Jessie leaned in to share an especially funny thought when her phone buzzed again. The dread in Lily's gut churned as Jessie's face paled. "What is it?" Lily asked, her heart racing. Jessie opened the message slowly, her voice shaking as she read, "Stay away from her. You have no idea what you're getting into." The air turned electric. Panic rushed through Lily's veins. What do they mean? What do they want? Fear clutched at her heart. I don't know. Jessie's brow furrowed deeper. But this is serious. I didn't want you involved either, but our project, the fundraiser, it could lead to something bigger. Maybe we should take a step back. No. Lily shook her head vehemently. We can't back down now. This isn't just about the fundraiser anymore, it's about us. We're fighting for more than just a program. We have to stand together. Jessie's fearful gaze softened, but skepticism remained. But what if they follow through? We're risking a lot. Is it worth it? A moment of silence passed. Lily felt her heart hammer against her chest, filled with fear and intensity. Listen, Jessie, I know it's scary. But our minds can't dwell on that uncertainty. Instead, let us use this to fuel our fire. Let us prove them wrong. We can't let fear control us. As Jessie met Lily's gaze, a flicker of admiration shone in her expression. You're right. We owe it to ourselves and to the kids who might benefit from our event. Let us not back down. By the time they left the park, a renewed determination pulsed through them. They rallied their friends, spent hours planning their campaign. Posters filled with colorful graphics plastered the walls of the school, inviting everyone to join hands in support of the program and to stand united against fear. The day of the event arrived. And as the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden hues over the gathering crowd, Lily felt her heart swell. Families flooded in, all united by a vision of change and hope. Everything felt vibrant, full of laughter and energy, as they connected not just through a shared goal, but also through the flicker of something greater building within them. Jessie stood beside Lily, tentatively reaching for her hand, a silent acknowledgement of their bond forged anew in the fires of resilience. We did it, didn't we? Jessie breathed, amusement dancing in her voice as they watched friends dive into games and art displays. Yeah, we did, Lily replied, her smile radiant. It was then that the air chilled, and a figure emerged from the shadows, someone they both recognized. It was someone from their shared past, someone who had lingered with deceit and old pain. Jessie stiffened beside her. But instead of fear, Lily felt strength. They had faced darkness before, now was not the time to back down. We'll handle this, together, she murmured, tightening her grip on Jessie's hand. As they approached the figure, they embraced vulnerability not just against the ghosts of their past, but toward the possibility of a future they could reshape together. The night shimmered with hope. No more shadows would define them, only the light of their shared courage. In that unexpected moment of clarity, they realized they could face anything together. And with that realization, the shadows began to fade, leaving behind only the warmth of their connection and the joy of a community finding its voice against the noise of fear. This is your moment. If you've connected with this journey of transformation, you need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like right now to grab the algorithm's attention and spread the word. Your support truly makes a difference. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this conclusion. You never know who might find strength in your words. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. It's time to encourage each other to fight against the shadows. Don't wait not even one more second. This is the moment to show your support.